Hey guys, this is Eric Weingarten with Weingarten Racing. This is a product review video, and I know I haven't done one of these in a while, and the reason why is because I haven't had any new heads that have come into the shop that are different, that hasn't already been on the channel. This one's been out for a while, so this isn't actually a new head, but it's the first time well, not the first time I'm recording this for a video for YouTube. What head is this? It's a small block Chevy, obviously, but this is a trickflow 195 head. Now, a little side story, this is related to this. My first ever set of aluminum heads were these heads. So the first ones I ever had in my whole lifetime were these heads, except they didn't have the CNC chambers, which we'll talk about here in a second. First set of aluminum heads I ever ported was this head. So it's kind of neat to see it come back through, and now I get to do a video on it. So this one itself, it's a 195cc intake runner. It's got a 202 intake valve, a 1/600 exhaust valve. If you look, it's got CNC chambers. Now, CNC chambers, you might say, what's the big deal with that? Well, what they do is typically they flow more, especially in the lower lifts. Peak flow, no, you don't really gain anything, but like 300, 400 numbers, 0.300 lift, 0.400 lift, even at 500 lift, it gains some. But like 6 and 7, nah, not really doing much. But anyway, these have a 64cc CNC ported chamber. Really nice work, nice blending. Now, really weird thing about this is it's only got, I don't know how well you can be able to see this. I'm going to zoom in on that. Just tilt it down so you can get a better view. It's only got 3-angle valve job. So you can see one right there, 2, that's where it sits, and there's your undercut. This is the seat itself, which kind of radiuses into it. A little bit different because usually you have 5, but don't think, oh my gosh, they didn't do anything right. It really depends on how far up you're opening the throat. So this seat insert itself could be smaller, so it's not getting all 5 in. But 3's doing great, and this is a radius. If you notice, there's a nice transition between the throat here into the seat itself. There's no step here, which is great. That's really good craftsmanship, or to get the casting correct to do it, because it doesn't require any bowl blending. You don't see any bowl blending. Even on the short side up here, no bowl blending. And the reason why, there's none really needed. Same with the exhaust side, if you look at it. Now it has a radius exhaust valve job. Got your 45 and then there's a radius, just not very much. Like I said, not taking a whole lot of it on the throat. These have angle plugs, so they're an angle plug head, but they're pretty nice. The other big advantage of this head, it's a made in America. Because America, baby. But there's your intake ports, 195 cc's. Does have the exhaust crossover. Up top, you can run bigger springs, so they're cut out to 155. But this is how they come if you get them assembled. That's the seal that they use. There's nothing wrong with that one. I just use the metal clad ones myself. Here's something else too. This is a 146 spring that they put on it, which is pretty good size. This is made for a hydraulic roller. But if you notice, just in case you ever get worried, they leave them off on the 2 inside ones. So backing up, exhaust ports, they leave off this locator. This is OD locator, so it's a cup. They leave it off on this because if you try to put your head bolt through, that'd just interfere. So instead you get a shim. The spring is held in place by the pocket itself. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got your rock arm studs here. The exhaust is a D-port design. It's an old school stuff, looks pretty nice. And if you can tell, they've got a raised valve cover rail too to help with the oil drain backs. Because the stock ones are much lower, and usually it causes your valve cover to leak more. Having it this way, it holds more oil before it gets actually to your valve cover gasket. But nice stuff. Looks really good. They come with Freya exhaust valves and intake valves. So the Freya valves are probably, in my opinion, they're the best stainless steel valves that exist. Usually they're pretty expensive too. It's got a nice back cut on it. On the intake side, really nice looking valve. The exhaust valve is just a standard nail. It's got a slight tulip, not a great tulip design, but just it's like a 16 degree instead of a 24. But good Freya valve, everything's nice. So good stuff in this, American made, well worth it. Let me show you the flow numbers. Here are the flow numbers from this trickflow 195. They're pretty good. Now this was flowed on my Signs digital 680 bench. It's my more conservative one. Had I floated on my Superflow 750, it would have been higher, but I didn't. I also guarantee my flow numbers. That's part of the reason why I don't. The Superflow reads higher. These are really good. This is good numbers. I don't know what trickflow claims for flow, but this is pretty good. 430 bore, 400 you have 233, outstanding. And then peak it goes 247, that's at 700. I don't know that you're gonna run 700 lift with this hydraulic roller, but you're probably gonna be around 5 to 6, which is 245, 246, is the same range. Exhaust side flows really well, 400, 177, and peaks at 205, and that's without an exhaust pipe. So if you ever wonder what these heads flow, this is what they do, and it's a really nice head for a 195 piece. Are there other ones that flow better? Yeah, but this is not a bad head. So I guarantee you there's probably some on Facebook Marketplace that someone's probably trying to sell, and you see these and you're like, man, I don't know if they're good. They're good, so highly recommend it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You guys take care. Remember, I don't port cast iron heads.